Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. I hope you can hear my voice clearly. Thank you everyone for joining today's training organized by the Center for Professional Development CPD. I am Dr. Aini from the Learning Design Unit, and I will be your moderator for this session. Before we begin, let us recite Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah, for today's training entitled Mastering Andragogy to Enhance Adult Learning, we are honored to have with us a renowned excellent speaker, Associate Prof. Dr. Shahrul Mizan Ismail from the Faculty of Law, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM. He is a legal scholar dedicated to advancing legal education through innovation, gamification, and digital platforms. Before we proceed further, I would like to invite the Director of CPD, Prof. Technologist Dr. Mira Kachuri, to deliver her welcoming remarks. Please welcome, Prof.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I would like to welcome Dr. Shahrul Mizan. Thank you so much. I think this is not your first time being with us, so thank you for setting aside your time. I know you are very busy, and we are so glad to have you back. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Raini and Sister Hilda from CPD for arranging the session today. And of course, last but not least, all the participants for spending your time to learn. Okay, so this is, I always celebrate this because uh, we are in the missions of the university is, every university is to not only to teach, but also to educate, to exemplify that learning is something that is rewarding. And the fact that you are here today means that you have lead by example. We are learning. So inshallah, this will amplify the words that we have been saying in the class, that everyone should learn. So we are learning, and inshallah, may Allah give the barakah for the fact that you are here and learning from our esteemed speaker, Dr. Shahrul Mizan. So I'm looking forward. I'm excited to learn from you too, Dr. Shahrul Mizan. And I know I'm gonna bring a lot of things from these sessions, and I couldn't wait. So all the best, everyone. All the best to the speakers. Thank you again to everyone. May Allah bless all of you. Barakallahu fikum. Wa alaikum jami'an, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi, Prof. Thank you for the warm and inspiring welcoming remarks. Now, before we start, let me just briefly share the overview of today's training and also to introduce our speaker. So I'm going to share a slide. So inshallah today the training, the title is Mastering Andragogy to Enhance Adult Learning. The speaker is Associate Prof. Dr. Shahrul Mizan Ismail from the Faculty of Law, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Introduction: Effective adult education requires a deep understanding of andragogy, the art and science of adult learning. This training aims to equip educators, train and facilitators with the skills and strategies necessary to create engaging and effective learning experiences for adult learners. Inshallah, upon completion of training, participants will be able to understand the core principles of andragogy, applying andragogical strategies in teaching and training, enhancing engagement and motivation among adult learners, and designing inclusive and effective learning environments for adults. Let me introduce you to our speaker. Associate Prof. Dr. Shahrul Mizan Ismail is from the Faculty of Law, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. His expertise is in human rights law, civil procedure, legal education, and innovation. For his educational background, he obtained PhD in law from UKM in 2013, LLM in human rights law, University of Nottingham, UK, 2006, and LLB Honours, International Islamic University of Malaysia, IUM, 2003. So basically, our speaker is our alumni, mashallah. Professional qualification, advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya. Current positions, Associate Professor at UKM, Chairman, E-Learning Organization of Law, ELOFTL, from 2021 until now. Academic Advisor, Faculty of Law, Help University, 2021 until now. Academic Advisor, Fakulti Syariah and Undang-Undang, College Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Selangor, KUIS, 2016 until now. Selected previous positions, he was the Dean, University of Malaya Center for Continuing Education, UMCCED, from 2022 to 2024. Deputy Dean, Networking, Income Generation and Alumni, Faculty of Law, UKM, 2019 to 2022. Deputy Director, Learning Technologies, Center for Teaching and Learning Technologies, Pengajaran UKM, 2017 to 2019. Deputy Dean Student Affairs Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah of Laws, IUM from 2015 to 2016. Selected awards, multiple gold medals in education, innovation and legal gamification 2020 and 2017. National winner, Higher Education Award, Anugerah Pemikiran and Reka Bentuk Semula, APRS Malaysia 2017. And Best Teacher Awards from IUM and UKM respectively 2014 and 2017. So don't forget, 2 CTD points will be awarded to those fill in their I-10 will be shared 15 minutes after the training starts, recorded in Zoom for a certain duration, and to fill in the evaluation form within 24 hours. Please get ready for the photos to be taken at the end of the training. So without further ado, let's welcome Associate Prof. Dr. Shahrul Mizan Ismail.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. First and foremost, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. All right, it gives me really great pleasure to be back in the Garden of Virtue and Knowledge. Yes, I am an alumnus of the university, and it always gives me big joy to come back to share my info and knowledge skills, whatever that I can share with the university. Yes. And it gives me great joy as well to meet friends, okay, my old friends. I could see some of them in the among the audience. So I hope that whatever that I will be sharing today will be of great benefit to IIUM. I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be back, although virtually. All right. Okay. So I will start with putting a disclaimer. Being a lawyer, I would have to start with that, I would say. Yeah. Because it scares me a bit when I look at the invitation and it says that the title is Mastering Andragogy for to enhance adult learning. And I look at the time, it's from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, right? So I really would like to make a disclaimer that mastering any sorts of or educational approaches will not be able to be done in 2 hours. But it gives me great relief to look at the learning objectives that was portrayed on the slide just now. It is something that I think we can strive together to achieve, yeah, inshallah. All right. So that's the first disclaimer. So you might not be a master at the end of the 2 hours, okay? But you might be able to achieve some of the learning outcomes, like understanding the concept, what are the strategies that you can adopt in your class, so on and so forth. Those are achievable, of course. All right. So that's number one. Number two, a little bit of class rules, not really class rules, like it's just like something that could help us understand each other's style better. All right, so my style is I don't really teach. So, because I'm not someone from the Faculty of Education, my background is not education, my background is law. So, most of the things that I will be sharing are based on personal experiences in my own class, teaching my own students. So, if there are anything which you think is useful for you, please take it with you, and if you want to use it, you want to modify it, it's up to you. Or if anything that you think is not suitable for your class, please feel free to disregard it, because by the end of the day, my principle is the lecturer or the teacher will know the students better and best compared to other people. So it does not mean that when I teach you a very posh concept called andragogy, then everybody has to, adopt it. So it's really up to you. We just have to uh, modify as we go along with our students. I believe everyone is familiar with that. And number two, apart from sharing, so my concept is just that I will be sharing, and you are not bound to actually follow. And number two is I don't have Q&A sessions actually. Anytime that you feel that you need to interrupt me, please do. Okay, I don't have any problem with that. You can interrupt me either by switching on your camera and just say something, and or you might also interrupt me in the chat box. Okay, the Zoom chat box. I've also the third thing about my workshops is usually that I will make sure that it's a lifelong learning process whereby we keep in touch in WhatsApp, so that if ever any of us had actually applied any of the methods in class or any other things that we do, innovations and whatnot, maybe we can share to inspire each other. And if we have any questions, further questions after the workshop, we can still keep contacting and communicating with each other in the group WhatsApp. So those are the three things that I usually do with my workshop. All right, now, so the disclaimer is done, the class rule is done. Now I'm going to go to some questions that I wish to ask from you. All right, since it's just a 2 hours workshop, I have not done any demographic survey to understand you better, to deliver my content. Okay, so I'm just going to do it here now. Please may I know why do you choose andragogy? You can answer in the chat box. I just want to know why this topic. Is there any particular reason why you choose this topic? And I could see that there are about 99 participants in the workshop. So you are here today, you choose this topic. I know you get CPD points, but I mean like there are other workshops, but why do you want to learn about andragogy? What is the attraction, I would say, for you to come to this workshop or for you to choose this topic? Perhaps you can answer in the Zoom chat box. I'll give you some time. Yeah, I know adult learners need some time to warm up. Anybody can share in the chat box why this topic? Or perhaps I should ask the organizer, maybe Dr. Raini.
Okay, the reason why CPD wanted to have this training, because this is one of the the latest direction from the ministry, to enhance the adult learning, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
So if I can also add on that, I think that's um often a misconceptions when we are teaching in university. We treat them as if that they have just been transitions from high schools. So we treat them all the way from first year to fourth year with the same style, same approach. But they're growing up in the university and they become an adult learners. So that's the whole andragogy ideas takes place. So we acknowledge the transitions, but also we facilitate the fact that they are growing up to different kind of learners at the end of the journey. So that's one of the ideas why we come up with this topic.
Okay, thank you very much. A very comprehensive answer from the organizer. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense now because I was just going as I was preparing for the workshop, I was wondering why Andragogy, why not Pratt or Brooks, some other approaches to adult learning, but or maybe why not AI or something, because usually my latest invitations to conduct workshops has been all AI. Okay, everybody is going for that. I think it gives me a breather and it gives me a relief a bit when I get this invitation. It's like a chance for me to go back to things which I like, which is about pedagogy and all. All right, so thank you very much. And okay, I have few other questions that I would like to ask the participants, but I would like to firstly check the messages that are already in so far. Okay, I think we have one from Shaukat who said, I love to learn Arabic. Okay. And Muhammad Taufik bin Muhammad, I would consider the students I'm teaching to already be considered as adults. So their learning process and my teaching style should be different from child learning. Okay, thank you. Yes, okay, understand. So this is why you are here. Yeah, I'm seeing hearing impaired adult patient. I'm teaching undergraduate students. I think I should treat them as adult. Am I right? This is a very interesting question. Actually, it's one of the questions that I will be asking during the workshop for us to discuss. Yeah, it is very interesting that I think Dr. Mira and Dr. Rai said something about, and I think Mr. Taufik also said something about this that what who we are teaching in the university are young adults or growing adults. These are some of the terms used. Yeah. So should we be using andragogy? So should we be using adult learning for this? Yeah. It's a very interesting question because it gives rise to this issue of whether how do we define adults? Are these people adults? I mean, the students that we have in our undergraduate classes, are they considered to be adults? Yes, I know. If you look at the Age of Majority Act, of course, anyone who is above 18 years old is considered to be not a minor, right? But putting that aside, I mean, in reality, are these people really adults? Because when we say they are adult, then we go and we will adopt the adult learning methods and approaches. But are they really adults? Yeah, they might be physically adult, they might be adult in terms of their age, but are they really adult in terms of their maturity, in terms of how they are responding to instructions? Are they adult in terms of their endurance, in terms of the journey of knowledge? Yeah. So these are among the interesting things that we can discuss together. Okay, I'm looking at Brother Aizat now to help me be a better educator, inshallah. And plus, as lecturer, we teach young adults, which is challenging. Even the age gap is only 10 years. Rasa tua sangat. Alah, belum lagi. Tu I lagi. Okay, so Sister Madiha, some of us 20 years age gap. All right. Okay. Oh, to be an efficient educator, okay, Brother Hafiz. I hope everyone don't mind me calling. I mean, everyone doesn't mind me calling brother and sister because I remember that was what I used to be called when I was there. I was with IUM until 2003 for my studies in LLB, and I served IUM as a lecturer for 11 years before I moved to UKM. So yes, brother and sister is quite common. Is it still common there now? Many of our students are adults, according to Sister Zaidatul Akmal. Andragogy may help us understand our students' needs more. I like this comment, and it relates to the other comments as well about observation that our students are actually adults. This is a very important question because the way how you teach an adult and the way how you teach um someone who is not an adult, yeah, is different. So it might be, not to say dangerous, but it might not be effective if we choose a method that doesn't suit the audience, yeah. So yep, but again, the question um is andragogy really for our undergraduate students? I mean, for postgraduate, no issue there. Definitely adults, yeah. And sometimes I think, like for example, for myself, I teach both postgraduate and undergraduate classes. For this semester, I'm entrusted with the subject of legal research methodology for PhD students. And also, I'm teaching undergraduate students things like advocacy, legal advocacy, preparing students to go to court, so on and so forth. And I also teach things like entrepreneurship, which is a compulsory subject by the university. So I do realize that when you teach postgraduates, no issue there, no question. So no problem. But when you talk about young adults, yeah, young adults who are our students, so that requires us to do a little bit of diagnostic assessment in the beginning of the semester because we really need to gauge their level, their endurance, and their readiness for the method if we want to go for andragogy. Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Yeah, still brother and sister. Thank you, brother Aizat. So I don't know who is a professor or who is associate professor, doctor, so on. So I'll just call everybody brother and sister if you don't mind. Okay, Dr. Raini, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Shahrul. We can see that you are using a filter, Misa and Jambang. Is it intentional, just in case it's a mistake? Yes, it's intentional. It's intentional because I'm coming back to IIUM, so I need to have beard and a mustache. Is that okay? All right.
I think that it's a mistake, but it's okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Actually, I'm being very formal with this filter because I usually use filter in all of my workshops, but in other workshops I use crazier filter, you know, like pirates hats and all that because I'm some my area apart from law is actually gamification in education. So, you know, I even almost gamified today's workshop, but then, you know, thought differently and changed my method. Okay, so thank you so much for the reply. The next thing that I would like to ask is another question from me to you is how do you wish to communicate during this workshop? Do you want to use the Zoom chat? Do you want to switch on your microphone? Or would you like me to not communicate with you in such way? So may I know what is your preference? Or would you like me to just, you know, give you a lecture and you just listen and no interactions? I'm okay with anything. So can you just share your preference? Interesting to use filter to make online class more fun. I shall consider trying it too. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Both works for me. All right. I'm okay with both options. All right. Anything else? Anybody else wants to share? Tell me, just tell me, what is your preference? I'll follow your preference, no worries. Most importantly, I want everybody to be comfortable, okay? In terms of voicing out their opinion or sharing their experience, you know. Any options will do. Thank you very much, Sister Wanzeti. Okay. Anyone else would like to say anything? As of now, we have about 3 or 4 answers saying that anything will do in terms of communication during class. All right. Okay. So no one else is sharing. Okay, my next question would be, would you like to have a hands-on activity or would you prefer just a lecture? Anything? Or would you prefer discussions? What is your preference? Just tell me in the Zoom chat. Wow, I like workshops like this, you know, when participants says any style is okay. Okay, hands-on and discussion would be nice. Okay, thank you, Brother Aizat. Discussion, all right. Thank you, Brother Musiliu Farayola. Okay, Brother Muhammad Irwan, no heavy homework, please. No homework. I don't like homework myself. Actually, my style with my own students, right? Especially the postgraduate students, I never give any homework. It's basically everything you do in class, you finish it there, your marks will be there. So no, because I'm also an adult, and if I were to take any class, I also don't like homework. Okay, hands-on and discussion. All right. So thank you, Sister Dini. Anybody else would like to share their opinions and thoughts and preference? Okay. Seems the communication method so far the preferred one I would say based on what we're doing currently is via Zoom chat. So I would uh I would choose activities that would be more suitable for that communication. So I will be doing some changes in my content. Yeah, anything else? No? Okay. Another thing I would like to ask is, would you prefer to have the slides at the end of the session, or would you prefer to have something else? Do you need the video or what? Anything? Or you don't need anything. It's you have your own notes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, Sister Juliana, I take note of that. Slides and any other reading materials would be good. So, uh, if everybody doesn't mind, then I'll be sharing not just the slide, and I will just share whatever other materials that I have on the topic to you, yeah? Amboi ke Atia gangster, eh? Kasih jelas semua. I have to ask first because this is adult learning, ma.
Yes.
Sometimes they will say that, answering, giving so many things in WhatsApp, they're overwhelmed. Hey, show your true self. Not fair. You using avatar, eh? Okay. All right. So for everyone's FYI, apa ni? Sister Atia is my apa ni? A very very best apa ni friend from UIA. We've always been in workshops together, so on and so forth. Sabar Kak Atia, breakfast belum tu. Betul lah kan? Tiba-tiba jadi nak marah. Okay, issue and challenging. All right, okay. Okay, so thank you so much for responding. I think those info will really help me. Okay, now I will be okay. First and foremost, I would like to explain. Yeah, at first when I was preparing for the workshop, I prepared a wholly different uh a wholly different set of activities and content for the participants lah. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan semua lah. Right. But as I was preparing, then I reminded myself that I'm delivering a content on adult learning, so I myself must implement Andragogy in my own workshop. So I have not had the opportunity of doing a demographic survey or diagnostic assessment with all of you, so I do not know the preference. So I'm not sure because I know the background and the background of the university, the surrounding, the environment. So to make it more safe, yeah, because when you talk about andragogy, right, you talk about adult learning, you have to be a bit more sensitive, and I will be emphasizing on this later on as I go on into my slides. When you talk about teaching adults, you have to make sure that they are comfortable, that they feel it is safe for them to actually share and participate in the activities. So I chose to put aside my first set of materials. So I go with something more conventional because and I think I assumed correctly because I could see that the response and the participation comes more in the Zoom chat rather than the mic. So you will notice that I will have some hands-on activity. I will have some discussions. The hands-on activity will be reduced unless I could see any difference in terms of the way how we communicate in the workshop. More will be on discussions, yeah. More will be on discussions, and uh, I still have some for taking into consideration the digital divide that might be there among the audience. So I will be also using the conventional method of using lecture through slides. So for those of you who are not very comfortable with technology, so don't feel overwhelmed, there will be slides at the end of the session as well. All right. If given the opportunity, if we have rezeki and then we meet again in another workshop, on andragogy or maybe other topics, then if I have known you, perhaps we can choose something else as our activities and content lah. All right. Okay. So to start with, I will ask one question first before I share with you my slides. Okay. My question is, presuming that everybody in this workshop has the experience of teaching or currently is teaching adults, yeah? Okay. What is your, how do I say, what is your common issues or problems that you have in your class when you teach adults? Can you share in the Zoom chat? before we go to the slides. Or you don't have any problems, which I doubt very much. When I ask question, they only reply with one word. Yeah, got you. Okay, understand. Continuous engagement for 1.5 hours. Understand. So how long do they have in terms of their concentration, Sister Hazwani? How long usually? Adults. Anyone else would like to share? 30 minutes. Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, scientifically proven that adults have the attention span of about 25 minutes before it will start to decrease in terms of their retention. Yeah, their retention level will start to decrease quite rapidly after 20 to 25 minutes. Yeah. Um, the adult mind is able to process more complex things, but they have lower retention rate in terms of the duration of the retention. Okay. The young as younger learners, they have higher retention, but not too deeply into every each of the things that they are being taught compared to adults. So yes, Sister Hazwani is right. I do have that problem as well. So that's why with my research methodology class with my PhD students, what I do basically is 25 minutes and then a little bit of rest, a little bit of discussion. You know, they can't just absorb things for 1 hour like that. Yeah. For example, I ask, what do you understand about LMS? The answer is learning. Follow up, can elaborate more. Learning online. Yeah, yeah. Adult learners needs a very secure zone or secure environment where they feel it's comfortable for them to say something, to share, to talk. Yeah. So as if we're teaching adults, we have to be very, very um we have to take into consideration, we have to be very sensitive in terms of things that affect this, yeah, affect their feeling of comfort to participate in class. Yes, yes, very true, Sister Afika. I would very much agree with you. Afraid to share their thoughts or scared to answer wrongly. Yes, they have a little bit of pride, so they feel embarrassed if they give the wrong answer. Okay. I think Brother Irwan is sharing something. They prefer to just listen to lectures rather than being engaged in class discussions actively. True, very, very true. Difficult to provoke them to speak. Yes, very, very true. And I thank God, actually, the participants in this workshop is responding quite rapidly and actively because in my context, when I give workshops, I am teaching adults, and we're talking about not just young adults here. We're talking about professors and, senior lecturers, and even these types of audience also switch off their camera and switch off their microphone. And, sometimes I receive no response whatsoever in the Zoom chat. That's why I'm very careful in terms of choosing my content based on the demographic of the audience. And that's why today I choose something more conventional because I do not know yet the type and the preference. Yeah. Okay, so I share the I feel you lah, basically. I would like to say to Brother Irwan. And then Brother Muhammad Faris Osman, for the subject that I teach, 10 minutes into the lecture, I already saw several people yawning. Yeah. Yes, yes. The discussion sometimes takes a different turn. Aha, what is this? Brother Amar takes a different turn where? Are you using Socratic method? So if you're using Socratic method, there are chances that it will stray away into something else. Yeah. And if you are using Andragogy, though I will be going through the slides after this, those of you who prefer slides, don't worry. But I will just explain a little bit here that adult learners usually, right, according to Andragogy, according to Knowles is the person who came up with this idea of andragogy. So he said that there are 6 assumptions, and one of the assumption is basically that adult learners would like for their experience to be recognized. So unlike children, when you teach, they come like an empty canvas where you can just, draw and create things on the canvas, and share knowledge as though they start empty, right? But adult learners, they come with their own experience, their own background, and sometimes you will notice that there are students who wants those experience to be recognized, to be acknowledged. In fact, it's good for you to acknowledge the experience because it will help to make the class become a safer uh, discussion zone for the students, yeah? So yes, it sometimes can take a different turn, but we just have to let the detour, let the detour happen so that they'll become more comfortable, and the learning can take place in terms of pedagogy or paragogy, meaning they learn from their peers as well, from the experience shared when the discussion take a different turn. But the Azna, the younger generation have short attention span. Yes, that's actually true. Theirs is even shorter than us. Scientifically, they said it's just about less than a minute. Not that they can't actually focus. The younger generation, not that they can't actually focus more than a minute, but the less than a minute is a time for them to decide whether they want to listen to you or not. So the first thing that comes out of your mouth, the first thing that you show on the screen within that first minute of your class will be the determining point for them whether we'll be listening to you or not. Yeah. So that's the younger generation. Okay, brother Aizat. But if I talk about life lesson, love lesson, or tips, gossip, then 3 hours class, no problem. Hiya. Yes, exactly, correct. But that's why lah. These are all detours, when you teach adult learners, yeah. Now these are the things. I've had the experience when I was seconded to UM. I had the experience of teaching adults for diploma executive. So these are working adults whose highest qualification is just SPM. Okay, but based on their work experience, they're trying to take a diploma program. So, that class is full of detours. And sometimes I would have to even use the detours to achieve the learning outcome, yeah? Because otherwise they will not be responding if you just give them like, straightforward lecture and sticking to the course outline, they will not be interested, yeah? My brother Muhammad Taufik, I think for the factor of fear, it is part of our culture. Our culture is collectivistic, so we are ingrained in us the desire to not disrupt the harmony of the group. Participating in class, expressing our opinion could disrupt this. I think there must be strategies that could address this using our cultural view as well. Very good, brother Taufik. I love this opinion because actually one of the criticism which I'll be sharing with you in the slide, one of the criticism towards Andragogy is actually that it is not culturally sensitive to the non-Western culture. The Andragogy is accused of being too westernized because it's very individualistic. It assumes that people learn individually, whereas in some of the non-Western culture, the learning happens in a more collective environment. Yes, that's actually one of the things that they challenge in terms of using andragogy to teach adult learning. Yeah. Okay, Brother Amar said different topics jumping from one to another. Yep. That's very true. Okay, so I think more or less what you are sharing is the problems or the issues that we have in adult learning. Okay, so I'll be sharing you my slides now. Hang on for a second. All right. Okay. All right. So this is I still use the word mustering, although I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that. But you know, as the per the invitation letter, so I put it there lah. Okay, I hope that we'll be able to not master the whole thing, but some of the things from Andragogy for university lectures. Just for your information, Andragogy is not the only way how we can actually effectively design our learning for adults. Yeah, there are many other uh, framework or approaches that we can actually use. But maybe if there are more workshops or meetings after this, or maybe in the WhatsApp, we can discuss further. All right. So Mm, I hope it's not too late to welcome you, all right, to the workshop. And the organizer has shared their learning objectives, but I'm going to share mine as well. This workshop is basically to help you reframe perhaps your approach to teaching by applying some of the principles that I'll be going through. Okay, and the reflective question I've already asked you just now. What is your one common frustration you face when you teach adult learners? Okay, and I think most of you have shared your experiences. If I may share my experience, my common frustration usually is when I would have like what I said just now, when I have silent response, yeah. Uh Mic off, camera off, and when I call, nobody answers. It's as though everybody is actually doing something else. So we don't know whether they are listening or not. As a teacher, you become very, very concerned, but there's nothing could be done especially when you do it online lah. If you're doing it face to face, that's a different story altogether. But when you do it online, you don't know whether they are listening or not. And sometimes the horror comes when, in the next 2 or 3 classes, when you have some sort of like a revision, or you try to link your third or fourth week class with the first week, you notice that they don't actually know what happens in the first class, though they were there in the Zoom chat pula, in the Zoom class, yeah. So this somehow or rather reinforces the worry that they were actually not there. They were there, but they were not there. So this is my common frustration with my students, yeah. So, another thing which I may share with you is with regards to um uh what else, yeah, in terms of frustration. One is that one in terms of online class. Another, not frustration, I would say, but another thing that I usually am very concerned of is in terms of digital divide. Because when you talk about adult learners, right, some of them might be very tech savvy, some of them might be very, very traditional. Okay, they don't even know how, because for example, for my research methodology class, yeah, for PhD students, um, I was very surprised that some of them don't even know how to share screen on Zoom. Yeah, they don't even know the features, even past COVID, yeah, post COVID. So by right, I think everybody should be very familiar, but they're not. Okay, so these are my experience. So I think these are our common frustrations or common problems or common issue lah. Okay, so we begin with this question and this slide because I hope that this workshop is not going to be merely a theory lah, but I hope that it will help you shape your choices in designing your curriculum, classroom tone, and assessments. Okay, so let's start with something very basic. Okay, what is andragogy? Okay, it comes from the Greek word andra and also agogios, which means leading. Andro means adult. So it was coined by Malcolm Knowles, as I have explained to you just now when we were having answers in the Zoom chat. Okay, let me just check. I think there are some answers here. Okay. I'm here body and soul, doctor. Oh my God, this is like apa ni? Sifu ni, Muhammad Nazrin Wahab. Okay, Muhammad Ikram. We are listening to you, doctor. Yeah, I'm not talking about this workshop. No worries. Usually, apa ni, the silent ones are actually younger adults tau. the older adults, usually some of them would respond. You would have like totally silent class, no. But the younger adults, usually they can do that to you. They will just ignore, and you call them and call them and call them, they will not answer, and that's when you are going to be very concerned. Okay, so Knowles' 6 principles. According to Malcolm Knowles, right, there are 6 assumptions, as he put it. Yeah, there are 6 assumptions, and the assumptions are: number one, self-concept. Self-concept basically means that autonomy, adults love autonomy and they don't like dependency. In other words, they don't like to be told what to do lah. Basically, they like to be asked what they like to do instead. Hence, that's why when I started the workshop just now, I asked you first, what is the mode of communication that you prefer? Okay, I was assuming that you're going to say Zoom chat rather than mic instead of, unmuting your mic and answering or raising any opinion. Okay, but most of you who responded said that's fine anyway, it's fine. Yeah, but the answer is not important. The question is important. Asking is important. So when we teach adults, whatever they ask, even if they say, usually adults are very polite and they will say, no, it's okay, anything will be okay for us, doctor. Okay, but the question that we ask is more important because it gives them the sense of autonomy, makes them feel comfortable and respected. So that's the first thing according to Knowles, which I agree with. Okay, self-concept. Number two, experience. Okay, they bring their own experience. They come from various backgrounds. Like for example, my executive diploma students, I had security guards. I had a housewife who is accompanying her husband in Dubai, taking that class. So they have their own diverse life experiences that can actually enhance the learning process. So we have to acknowledge and we have to make use of it, and it will enhance their sense of belonging to the class and to us, yeah, to the group. Okay, this is what Knowles is saying. This is different from when we teach children or maybe even young adults, yeah. Okay, number three, readiness. Okay, the learning must align with their social role and life stages. This is something that you have to gauge from your diagnostic assessment. So when you have them in the first week, it might be good to have an induction first, and talk to them, get them to answer some questions on survey or something. Okay, for you to know them better so that you can align your learning, teaching and learning to their social role and life stages. So because adults usually, right? I mean, like we are all adults, we won't be taking things which we feel is useless for us, like most of you who are in the workshop today, there must be a reason why you are here. You think this is useful for you, you think this will help you, only then will you actually come and join and be part of it. Yeah, that's why when I started the workshop just now, I started with questions, trying to ask you, why do you want this workshop? And what are the common problems that you have in your workshop? Sorry, in your classes. Yeah, because I'm trying to show to you that whatever that I'm going to share, and this workshop organized by your Center of Learning just now, yeah, it's actually something that it's aligned with your social role and life stages. Okay, that's number three. Number four, orientation. Okay, adults usually prefer immediate problem-solving knowledge over abstract theories. Okay, so that's why they prefer if you throw them with real life situation, the real life scenario, because they are experienced and they do not come empty-handed or empty-headed. So they prefer if you give them real problems and they will learn by solving the problems. Okay, at least this is an assumption from Knowles lah. But the disclaimer or the safety clause would be that not everything Knowles said is correct. And not all adults are like this. That one is something that we have to remember as well. But we can say that to a certain extent, what Knowles have as his six assumptions is actually right to a certain extent. Yeah. Okay, so that is orientation. So you will notice that in my workshop, there will be later, I will be sharing with you um, some hands-on activity that you can do on your own, yeah, uh, just to make sure that you can have this element of problem solving as well. Number five, motivation. Okay, so they are driven by incentives in terms of growth, pride, quality of life. So their incentive is different from our young adults. Okay, actually, in my personal opinion, right, just to share with you lah, I mean, doesn't matter. If you don't agree, it's also fine. But my opinion is the so-called young adults that we have in our undergraduate classes are not really adults. They are not adults in the sense that we can actually use 100% Andragogy method for them. So that's my opinion lah. Okay, so because you can see that their motivation is different. The undergraduate students, they are you can the first and the foremost motivation for them is the marks. If you give marks, they will do anything and everything for the marks or getting an A grade. They will do anything for that. And that's number one. Uh, Number two, if you give them presents or simple things like sweets and whatever, those works too sometimes. Okay, though nowadays it requires even more expensive things, but those gifts work for them. But with adult, as in real adults, they don't really care. Bukan nak kata they don't really care. They do care about their marks. They will be very grateful if you give them gifts and whatsoever in class, as a way to motivate them, as a way to actually get them to be more engaged in class. But each of the adults, right? Their motivation relate very much to their own life, their own pride, and things that are relating to their the personal aspects of their life. So when with adults, you really have to get to know them. When you get to know them and you give them something that they will really, really appreciate, that would be the motivation. Sometimes it could be as simple as recognizing them in class, and appreciating their experience. Could be something like that. Even that would be a motivation for them to continue talking, for the next class and the next one after that. All right. Number six, the need to know. Okay. Before we start, we must be convinced of the purpose because we will invest our time and effort. These are adults, right? This is what I said just now lah. You want to come for this workshop today, you want to be convinced first of the purpose before you give your time and effort. Okay. So these are the six principles from Knowles. Actually, Knowles is not I will show you the slide after this a little bit on how and what is the origin of andragogy, yeah? Okay, so if you are familiar with Math transformative learning, are you familiar with Math? Can anybody respond in the chat box? They're not mature enough, Sarah say. Yes, I would. I would very much agree with you. Yes, they're not mature enough. No, first time hearing it. Okay. So the principle in the concept of andragogy propounded by Knowles, okay, is actually related to Maziro's transformative learning. If I can just share with you, Maziro's transformative learning concept is like this. They say that adults, they don't really learn unless they are put in a disorienting dilemma first. Yeah, I think that is true, right? If I can just say this in bahasa Malaysia, you know, uh, kan orang dewasa ni degil, yeah. Adults are very stubborn. They have gone through, a certain number of years in their life. They have been taught that things are supposed to be that way, and they would want you to actually teach them something else, unless they are put in a disorienting dilemma. This is what Maziro is saying. So that's why you have to give them pressure, and then when you give them pressure, it will push them into reflecting back whether what they are doing before is actually the right way or there are other ways of doing things. So this is what Maziro is saying. So whatever Knowles is propounding as andragogy is closely related to Maziro's transformative learning. He said, Maziro said, if you want to transform an adult, that adult has to go through a process. He has a cycle of it. And one of the things that he has to go through is a disorienting dilemma. Put him in a disorienting dilemma. For example, I used to teach final year students for civil procedure. Civil procedure is a subject that prepares them to go to court. Yeah. Mm, Other lecturers who teaches this subject, they go for lecture and tutorials. But with me, I just put the students, I straight away start by giving the students pressure. I just give them one challenge, very, very big challenge, like a case, a real case or something for them to work on, and I will push them. They become very annoyed with me, okay? But of course, at the end of it, they will be able to see uh, the things differently. Okay, before this, if they thought that, okay, some of them might be thinking, oh, I'm not good in English language. Yeah, I cannot speak in public. I'm not someone who can give public speaking. But when they are pushed, they are put in a disorienting dilemma, and so they have to do it. And then they reflect back, oh, maybe I could maybe I can do this. Yeah, maybe I should try and do this way, something like that. So this is my zero's transformative learning. So Knowles' principles are related to this, yeah. And also Brookfield's critical theory. Brookfield's critical theory is basically the learning for adult according to Brookfield's, yeah. Brookfield said that according adults learn through challenges. We have to challenge them. Okay. When we challenge them, we challenge their assumption, whatever the belief system that they have, only then will they learn. But if you look at this from a simpler perspective, right? If you look at it from a simpler perspective, this is true, isn't it, right? I mean, like we adults, unless we face a very difficult situations, we will not learn. When we face difficult situation, we are pushed, okay, we are uh pressured, to reconsider back, whatever things that we believe to be true. Only then we will learn, oh, this is a lesson for me. This is a lesson for me. Next time I won't do it like this because I know if I do like this, I will have this problem. So that is what all this Maziro, Brookfield, and Malcolm Knowles is trying to say. All right. So that's why I say 2 hours is not sufficient. Okay, but anyway, we'll try our best. It's already 11 o'clock. All right, so I will skip the historical roots. Okay. Okay, the neuroscience of adult learning. Yeah. The adult brain, as I was saying just now in the beginning of the workshop, it has lower neuroplasticity, okay, but higher capacity for integrating complex ideas. Because of their experience and their maturity, they will be able to digest better complex ideas. But they will have to be given the chance to repeat. Okay, there will have to be repetitions for them before they can actually internalize that thing for long-term memory. Yeah. So adults is like this. Yelah, biasalah orang tua pelupa kan. So I mean, like we ourselves, I mean, I'm 46. I don't know the rest of you. Okay, just now that's why I see somebody said that he is old already for being 30, and come on. Okay, so we adults need repetition. And I think that's why when you look at our parents, grandparents, yeah, they forget things and then you have to repeat back to them, because the adult brain has lower neuroplasticity. Okay. And also sleep, stress, and emotions will affect their retention. So if let's say they have lack of sleep, they have stress, emotions, all this will affect. Why do I say this? Why do I have this in my slide? Because when you have adult learners, for example, you have master student in your class, you have PhD students, you have to understand that if they have lack of sleep, maybe because of their children, at home, maybe because of their work in the office, they are stressed, it will affect their retention, and there will be a need for you to actually repeat for them, or maybe design your learning so that they will be able to repeat. Yeah. So one example would be using gamification, because when you use gamification, they are allowed to be doing the learning asynchronously, independent on their own in their own time, and they are able to repeat. Kan, if we play games, right? For example, Super Mario Brothers, can the 80s game. I'm using that example because of the demographic today. So if let's say, for example, you play that Super Mario Brothers game, you die and then you repeat, you die and you repeat, right? Every time you repeat, you learn. Okay, at this part over here, there will be this fiery flower that will be, vomiting fireballs. So I'm not going to go here. I'm going to jump. And here, there will be a mushroom that will change my size to be bigger. So you learn from the mistakes and the repetition of the process. So when you have adult students in your class, this is something that you have to consider. All right. Um, have to be a little bit more patient with them lah. Implication of this lower neuroplasticity. Okay. The implication is you have to reduce cognitive overload. Yeah. All right. And design learning in chunks, incorporate emotional rich content. Yeah. All right. So having said that, I would like to now get your views in terms of this. How do you actually see designing learning with repetition so that it will be more accommodating towards the adult learning? Can you share in the Zoom chat?
Could you repeat that, Doctor?
Okay, okay, because as I've explained in slide 4, the neuroplasticity of adult brain is lower, so things need to be repeated for them before they can actually internalize the whole thing. So how do you design that into your learning? How do you make sure that there will be repetition? Sometimes, most of the time, lecturers are very much into chasing to finish the syllabus and finishing the slides, right? So how do you make sure there are repetition in your class? Can you just share some ideas? Ask a few of them to explain it using their own words. Yep. Yeah, could be. Could be. All right. Anything else? Connect and recall class concepts. Yes. All right. What else? What else can you do to make sure that they have that opportunity to repeat back, Ask for some feedbacks from the students after a certain time. Yeah. Yeah. All right. What else? What do you think? How many of you have uh lack of sleep last night? Using their own words. As I teach Arabic, certain important words to be repeated in different sentences or contexts. Okay, all right. I think that's a good feedback. Anyone has lack of sleep last night? If you have lack of sleep last night, or if you are rushing for a deadline, maybe a marks deadline or anything, right? Just try to look at yourself and have a feel of how that affects your understanding of today's workshop, because today's workshop is also a learning process, right? The level that we can absorb the knowledge when we are you know having lack of sleep, when we're stressful, all these things. Yeah. Every time we start a new class, we recap what has been done in the previous class. Oh, I like that, Sister Hasni. Right, and Zaidato Akma Abdul Hamid, the next time I see the students always ask questions regarding the previous lesson. All right. Okay. Okay, so nowadays we have lots of things. That's why when you have adults, right, might be a good idea for us to have something, have a platform where we can actually store things that we discuss in class. Like, for example, we have Padlet. We can actually put things there, not just our notes, but also what the other students are asking or sharing with the class. For example, let's say we use open learning or any other similar platform, yeah. When you actually share your video in your LMS or in your in open learning, for example, there are not only will the students can be given an option to look at other people's response. You know, they can also, we can choose lah. We can choose which one is suitable, which one is not suitable lah. Okay, we can choose to also let them see examples of good work. You know, with the help of technology nowadays, even with things as simple as WhatsApp. Because once you have a WhatsApp group, okay, with your students, you know, you can always ask students to share their thoughts and their work inside the WhatsApp. There are, of course, when you talk about adults, you also must consider things like, I know lah, some lecturers will talk about, oh, but then there will be problems of, you know, students stealing other people's ideas and whatnot. Yeah, that's one consideration. But you have to play it by the ear lah. If, let's say, for example, if it's something that gives a lot of marks, maybe not to share, to be shared. But if, let's say, for example, it's just like opinions, suggestions, you know, so might be good for us to have like something for us to put everything there, to store everything there, so that they can always go back. The purpose here is for the repetition lah. They can always go back. They can always scroll back if it's WhatsApp. They can always go back to the postings that we put. You know, if it's in Facebook or if it's in Padlet, they can always go back to see what was actually discussed. This repetition is very important for adult learning. Yeah. Okay. I will now like to share with you few links. Okay, so up until this point, we have gone through the basic principles of Andragogy, okay, adult learning. Okay, and I would like to do some activity with you. All right, hang on for a second. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you two links, all right? And I will also be showing the link on the screen, at least for one of them. I think we'll start with one first lah. Okay, and I'll give you the link and I will be also showing to you on the screen, yeah? Okay, let's see. Let me share the screen. Okay, just before we look at this activity, I mean this activity together. Okay, let's just recap what we have understood, yeah, from the previous slide. Okay, what are the six? Can anybody name the six assumptions that become the foundation of Noel's andragogy? What are the six things? The 6 assumptions, what were they? You will be getting the slides later, no problem. But now just to recap a bit, because we'll be using that in our activity. First is what just now? I'll give you one. Self-concept. Yes, true, self-concept. Okay, what else? Experience. That's true. Yes. Ready. Yes. Number 3. And thank you, Sister Amelia. Orientation. Okay. Motivation. Yes, correct. Yeah. Okay, so you know some of the elements, but yes, correct. Need to know. Okay. Okay. So you know that you know the components, yeah. Okay, so let me just share with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 virtual personalities. Okay. These virtual personalities need to be interviewed. We'll do it together for one personality, and after this, I'll let you have about 10 to 15 minutes to actually uh interview them yourself. And then I want you to discuss with me, yeah, towards the end of the workshop, in terms of what kind of how do we design an effective classroom if we have these 5 personalities in our class as our students, yeah. So we'll do one together first, yeah. All right. So can you see here? I'm using ChatGPT, and I have created a personalized GPT, yeah, with the character named Jason, the adult learner who wants to quit. Okay, and if you look at the 4 boxes here is what he feels, and you can see the brief description over here, the type of person, the type of learner that he is. He is a frustrated, vulnerable adult learner on the verge of quitting night school. All right. He doesn't think he belongs to the class. He feels like everyone else gets it, but he doesn't get it, and he feels on the verge of, why should I what's the point of pushing myself at this age? All these things, yeah? All right. So, can anybody ask the first question to Jason? Let's say you have him as your student, and you are interviewing him as your diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment is usually an assessment that we do in the beginning of the class, so that we can design our learning experience better. Okay, so what would you like to ask him? Maybe you can put in the Zoom chat, and I will put it in the how do you start your conversation? Anybody would like to try? Okay, so I can see there's answer in the Zoom chat. How do you feel today, Jason? Okay, let's try that from Sister Hazwani. How do you feel today, Jason? Let's see what he answers. Okay, he says, honestly, pretty drained. I was up late finishing assignment that I still don't even know if I did right. Okay, then I had to be up by 5 a.m. for work. It's like I'm always running, but never getting anywhere. Now I'm here in class, half awake, trying to pretend I'm not falling behind. Sometimes I wonder what's the point? Like, who am I kidding? Thinking I can keep up with all this. Everyone seems to get it so fast. I'm just surviving, not learning, just surviving. So yeah, that's how I feel. Just tired and honestly kind of ashamed. Okay, we'll go with the second question from Brother Irwan. Okay, I think question was, remember why you started learning? Do you remember why you started learning? All right. Let's see what he says. Yeah, I do. It was my mom actually. She's getting older and she still works long hours at the kuih stall, even though her back's been giving her problem. And every time I look at her, I feel this weight. Like if I don't try to change something now, I'll end up stuck in the same cycle, struggling paycheck to paycheck, breaking my body just to survive. I told myself going back to school might be the way out. Maybe I could get a better job, something stable, something that makes her proud. She never said it, but I know she worries about me. But now, being here, it feels like a bit of more than I can chew. I don't want to quit, but I don't feel like I belong either. Like maybe this whole learning thing just isn't for people like me. Okay, so this is what he feels, you know. So that's why I say when you have adults, you know, you have to understand their sensitivities, you know, their to make them comfortable, you know. Right. So let's see what else what other questions do you have? What makes you want to continue studying in the first place? I think that's the same question Brother Irwan has asked. In 5 years coming, how do you visualize yourself? What have you achieved so far? All right, so let's try this by Sister Habiba. In 5 years coming, how do you visualize yourself? And what have you achieved so far? So let's try it. Have you ever had students like this in your class before? In your class with adult learners? Have you had this kind of student before? Okay. Yes. Yes. Honestly, that's hard to picture. Sometimes I'm scared to imagine too much because it feels safer not to hope. But if I really let myself dream for a second, I like to be in a better job, something where I don't have to wake up dreading the day. Maybe something stable where I'm not always one mistake away from losing everything. I like to have a little place of mind. You see, he has all these things working in his mind, you know. He has all these insecurities and everything. But sometimes we as lecturers, not because not to blame us, but sometimes we also have our own deadlines and everything. So we rush through. We just want to make sure that you know all the syllabus is covered. But these students are coming to class with all these sorts of things in their head, you see. So does it affect their retention? It does. Does it affect their understanding? It does. So you do actually have, you know, when you have adult learners, they come together with their uh or with their baggage. It comes together with their family problems, office problems, all these things, you know. So a diagnostic assessment might really help before we actually design the learning as we think it should be. All right. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to give you five personality. So this is just an example. Jason is just one of them. We have actually five more, okay, with different personalities. But these personalities, I have designed them according to the common personalities that we usually have, among our adult learners lah. Okay, so you can take about, okay, now it's 11:20. So maybe you can take about 10 minutes for you to actually try and interview these five personalities, and then we can share our thoughts and observations on a Zoom whiteboard. I will share a Zoom whiteboard soon after this. Okay, so I'm going to forward to you the five character, but before that, I'll just introduce them a bit to you. Yeah, hang on, yeah. All right, I'll share screen now. Okay, so virtual learner personas. Okay, first we have Maria. Maria is a 35-year-old single mother working night shifts while pursuing a part-time diploma. She's resilient but overwhelmed, often struggling with rigid academic deadlines. So she values flexibility, emotional support, and relevance in learning. Main challenge, exhausted, constantly juggling family, work, and studies. And the andragogical themes is flexibility, relevance, and emotional validation. Yeah. So this is the first character. Okay. Second one is Amir, the skeptical senior engineer. So Amir is a 42-year-old mechanical engineer pursuing an MBA. He often questions the academic value of coursework, seeking real-world relevance. So you see, the first adult learner that we have just now, Maria, she's more someone who struggles in terms of juggling everything together. Okay, so I'm sure we have this kind of students before in our class, right? I mean, maybe we even have it now in this semester. Okay, that is one. This person, the second person, Amir, have you ever had the experience of, one of those students who comes from the industry and thinks that, whatever that we teach is actually outdated, and he knows or the latest, and also we also have this kind of students. So Amir is an example. So he responds better to application-driven assignments than abstract theory. Okay. Main challenge is to find the course content irrelevant to his professional context. Yeah. Okay. And andragogical themes is workplace alignment, autonomy, and critical engagement. Okay, this is the second character. Third character is Khadija, the tech-averse retired teacher. Okay, look at the age here. She's 58-year-old, retired teacher, and she's being enrolled in a digital education course. So she's a bit overwhelmed because of the digital things. Yeah, she's respectful and wise. Okay, like any other 50-year-old, I would say, but uncomfortable with online platforms. Her learning journey reflects the need for empathy and digital inclusion. The main challenge for her would be because she's overwhelmed by digital platforms and modern tech lah. The andragogical themes for us is emotional safety, patience, and scaffolding. You know what scaffolding is, right? If anyone is not familiar with the concept of scaffolding means that when you actually have students like this, you need to scaffold. Scaffold meaning you have to know when you need to step in to assist. And once you see that the students are able to be left independently, then you step out for a while and let the students do it themselves. But once they have reached to a stage where you think they need your help in order for them to move forward, if not, they cannot move forward, then you step in again and hold. This process of stepping in and stepping out according to necessity is what we call scaffolding. Yeah. So with students like this is what you need to do. Okay, Jason is the one that I've shared with you just now. 29-year-old logistic worker attending night classes, discouraged by repeated failures and questions his capability as a learner. He needs affirmation, mentorship, and trauma-aware teaching. So main challenge to him is he feels burned out, feels left behind, close to quitting. Then the andragogical themes that we have to explore is compassion, belief building, and learner dignity. All right. And the last character is Aina, an overachiever. I'm sure you have this kind of student in your class, right? There will be someone who would always be sitting in front row, always raising hands and always responding to whatever that you are saying. But with these kind of students, sometimes because they are an overachiever, sometimes they would have very high expectations towards themselves and they become burnout. Okay, so main challenge, excellence driven but emotionally depleted. Andragogical themes is empathy, internal motivation, and emotional balance. All right, so we are going to try an interview. I mean, you can do this individually on your own. All right, and then I will share with you a whiteboard. All right, for you to share your observations about how should we design the learning experience for a class that comprises of all these 5 personalities, assuming that these 5 personalities are our students. So how should the learning be, okay, for them? Yes. Okay, do you have any question in terms of my instructions? You can put in your Zoom chat if you have any question. No? All right. Okay. So if you have no question, I will now share with you the whiteboard and you can freely put your observation on the whiteboard. Yeah, just hang on for a second. In the meantime, I'll forward the You were saying all these five people are in the same class. Yes, yes, true, Brother Faris. All of them are in the same class. I'll forward to you the link first for you to talk to them. Uh, okay. It's in the WhatsApp group. Hang on. Okay. There are 5 links there. Some with image, some with images, some with just the link. So you can just go there and try to interview them to get more information about them before we design the learning experience. Yeah. Okay, so for the whiteboard, I want you to just look at the screen for a while for me to give you instructions. You just look at the screen. You can look on the left side. There are some buttons here. So what you need to do is you just go to this button that I put my cursor on at the moment. All right. So what you need to do is just go to this button over here that looks like a sticky note. Just click them. Just click the button, sorry. And then just click the color that you prefer. All right. And then you can just put it on the board and write your observation there. All right. So that's how you share your observation with the class and myself. Ayo, don't lah conteng. You see adult learners, ah. Oh, yes, Sister Habibah, I can see that, yeah. You see, this is not young adults, you know. These are all real adults. And here comes the stars and what else? No. What you need to do is you can summarize the needs of the character if you want to by yourself in your own notes. But what I need on the Zoom whiteboard is just your suggestion in terms of how the class should be for a class that consists of all five characters. Yes, Brother Irwan, I set up the GPT to also not just respond by answering question, but also to question you. Relate content to real life experience. Perhaps can you make this more contextual? Okay, I can see some answers now on the screen. Get them to engage and validate each other's experience. Share their perspective on the material. Yes, get them to engage and validate each other's experience. So you see, I think this is right. Yeah, this is right. It relates very much to if you have heard of Maslow. I'll put Maslow here. I think those of you who are from the social science will be very familiar with Maslow. So according to Maslow, uh, human needs have their hierarchy of needs, you know, and on the third tier, actually, after physiological and emotional needs, they need support like this, yeah. So getting them to engage with each other and validating each other's experience might be very helpful in terms of creating a very safe learning environment. Okay, so that would help. Yes, share their perspective on the material. This, in other words, mean you are inviting them to be a co-curator of your learning experience, meaning you give them some autonomy, some control over their own learning experience, which adults really like. Yeah, provide an analyze, challenge, energize, and socialize activity to do together to fulfill each of their intrinsic needs. Okay, share examples of the concepts in real life case studies. Ask for repetition in their own words. Okay. Yes, 8 Maslow. There is no immediate right or wrong, only curiosity. Yes, this is very good. If you can have this in your class, right? You can, if you can put them in a situation where they feel that there is no right or wrong answer, you know, they are safe to give any sorts of answer, then it will really help them to be able to learn more effectively. Okay. And I could see that relate content to real life experience, make them see that this kind of learning stays with them in real life situations. Yes, for this you have to go back to, you know, each of them, you know, what do they I mean like where they coming from, their background, so on and so forth. Yeah. Shapes how you speak to others, how you make decisions, active listening, conflict resolutions. Okay, yeah. Be flexible and adaptable. Yes. I think that's one of the greatest challenge that we in universities have, right? We are rushing with our syllabus at the same time. And also we have lots of students in our class. This is just 5. In the real situation, sometimes we have more than 5. We have lots, especially when you talk about the younger adults, you know, and the graduate classes. Give side project which involve with industry as a group project. Delegate the task according to their passion and suitability. Very good idea. It's just that you also have to be careful in terms of not allowing it to be like a extra burden. Give flexibility in doing this task. Yes, yes, I think that would work. If you give flexibility, I think that would work. Not just give criticism, but tell the glow things which is good in their task. Yes. I like this one over here, the vertical shape. Listen to them, be a good listener and let them speak out, share their problems, then try our best to accommodate their needs, work or experience-based assessments, flexibles, deadline, etc. Without compromising the academic integrity. Let them know they are doing great and just need to carry on to complete. Yes. We need to provide platform for the adults to have help and support academically and emotionally. Yes. That's why you see all these things, right? When you have a PhD student under your supervision, all these things, whether I mean like I'm not sure about every each of you in the workshop, but with my PhD students, this thing comes hand in hand. Apart from, you know, supervising their thesis, at the same time, you know, we have to also give them the support in terms of their emotion and their academic needs as well. Yeah. Design the learning to be concise, focusing on the essence, things that are crucial for everyone to understand. Very good. Yes, very good. This one is very good. Yeah, because compared to those who are uh in our undergraduate classes, okay, the real so-called real adults, yeah, they have so many things on their plate. So we just have to make sure that it's concise. We cover things which are the most important for them. We cannot treat them the same as our undergraduate students, yeah. So yes, that's true. At the same time, provide chance for them to have personalized way of communicating with the instructor. Yes. Yes. Some of you might have this rule, which I totally respect, that you can only be contacted at your room or your official number, but find a way that is comfortable for you and the student that allows them to communicate with you personally, because adult learners usually they would prefer a more personalized communication. Yeah, they are more quickly embarrassed, and they don't have the confidence sometimes. Yeah, so just have a way that is comfortable for both parties lah. All right. Okay. So I think I have some responses here. Very good. And it's already 11:46. I'll continue with my slide for the last part. I have a lot more to share actually, but we have to be respectful with the time given by the organizer. Yeah. So I'll share with you the slide again. All right. So now we look at the slide. Okay, I'll go to misconceptions, yeah? Misconceptions about adult learning. There are many misconceptions, but the three most common ones are adults manage time better. So when we have adult students, we assume them to be better in their time management in comparison to our younger adults. Okay, but actually the reality is no. They also have problems in time management. Okay, but it's just that they concede it better compared to the younger undergraduates. Yeah.
Sorry,
So
Dr. Shahrul,
yes, yes, yes.
can you display this in presentation mode?
Oh, what are you seeing now?
You can see the number of slides at the bottom.
Okay. Okay. Can you see now?
Thank you. Yes.
All right, okay. So adults manage time better. That's not true. Some adults, yes, but actually adults just have the same problems as younger adults, yeah? The reason why I keep on using the word younger adults as opposed to children, because in the context of a university, we don't really have children, but we have young adults who may have some children traits yet, still, yeah? So misconception number 2, adult learners don't enjoy active learning. Actually, they do. Actually, they do. But it's just that you have to find the preference, the preferred active learning. They might not be active in terms of uh saying it back whatever that they feel about the class or the issues or the topic that you are discussing, but they might have a way of doing it. Okay, that's why for this class I could see that preference is actually to communicate via chat box and also via the whiteboard just now. Yeah, so it's a misconception to say that they don't enjoy active learning. Actually, they do. Okay. Number 3, they don't need affirmation. No, actually, they really appreciate constructive feedback. Yeah. Some of them may seem defensive. Um, but with adults, we are also adults. Sometimes they may seem defensive at that time, but you just have to let the thing sink in and they will think about it and consider it later. Yeah. Uh, so it's not right to say that they don't need affirmation. Actually, they do. Yeah. In fact, they absorb better compared to our younger adults students. Okay, sociological insight. This is what I have shared with you just now a little bit, yeah, in the chat box. I said, according to Maslow's hierarchy, adults still seek esteem and belonging in learning spaces. They may seem matured and very confident and, they don't really mind, memang they seem like that. But actually inside, they still need a sense of belonging in the learning spaces. So the design tip is you have to embed recognition and flexible timelines into your teaching. Like for example, my class, right, for PhD, you know what time the class is? The class is at 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. I don't think they can survive if I continue and continue and continue until 11 p.m. So what I do with my students in my PhD class is 6 to 7 is basically lecture. Then 7 to 8:30 p.m. is for them to do activity or exercise based on what I have lectured them. And then by 8:30, then we can have discussions. And then that's it. I will end the class a bit early, but we'll discuss asynchronously further via WhatsApp. So we have to be flexible lah with our timeline. Because we're talking about adults here, kan? They have children, they have husbands at home and everything. It's not logical for us to treat them just like our undergraduates, yeah? So transformative strategies for teaching adults. When you teach adults, approaches or strategies that work better is when you use PBL. Okay, an example of PBL is what I have done with you just now. That is one example of doing PBL. And if you are not able to actually pay full attention to each of them, so maybe you can try using technology if you're comfortable with technology, like what I did just now. Okay, project-based learning is another way. Because all these strategies that I have, right, all the 6 strategies that I have on screen are example of strategies that takes into consideration, okay, all the 6 assumptions that Malcolm Knowles had said just now. Okay, right. So problem-based learning, project-based learning, reflective journaling. So meaning it encourages them to reflect back on what they have learned by themselves. All right. I've tried this reflective journaling with younger adults, like my undergraduate students. Ni tak jadilah. I'm not sure whether it works in your situation. With my undergraduates, it doesn't work. They use the reflective journaling to mengipas air. Yeah, to basically say all the good things about Dr. Shahrul Mizan. But I tried this with my master's student, it works. With my PhD students, it works. They are mature enough to understand the purpose of the reflective journaling. Maybe because they're adults lah kan. Flip classrooms. This is to make it more flexible lah. Flip classrooms is when you ask them to actually go into the LMS, watch the video, read the materials, and then when they come to class, it's just for discussions. Yeah. Okay, flexible learning path. They can choose modules at their own pace and interest. Maybe if you have it like, I used to have like my class, I have 14 weeks. So I open all the 14 modules in open learning. Students can come and choose whatever module that they want to open and learn according to their own preference. So this actually gives them some sort of autonomy to their own learning. Same goes with idea number 4, strategy number 4. If they feel they have some control, which is good. Okay, this is actually one of the cornerstone of Andragogy. They can control their own learning to a certain extent, yeah? Become self-directed. Okay, number 6, real case scenarios. Okay, you can integrate current industry issues into your teaching so that it can be related to their own experience. For students like Ami just now, yeah? Okay, so each method affirms the learner's autonomy, relevance, and agency. Okay, so this is what we have done just now. These are the criticisms against Andragogy. Okay, there are counter theories like Pratt's 5 teaching perspectives, and also Brookfield's critical theory. Perhaps we can talk more about this if we have, follow-up workshops and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. So the criticism against Andragogy is overgeneralization. Not all adults fit the self-directed model, which is true. Yeah. Like I said just now, when I was explaining the earlier slides, I said not all adults are like that. Some adults they are still like younger adults, or maybe some adults they do not fit with that. They need lecture. They need to be spoon-fed, for example. So it doesn't actually fit everyone. Okay. Cultural bias, this is what I have explained also just now, that the criticism is that Knowles model reflects the Western individualistic values. Okay, and number three, age doesn't guarantee maturity. And this is what I said just now. Some adult learners may still require structure. Some adults actually prefer, if you have slides, if you follow the slides properly. So that's why if you notice, for my approach in my conducting my workshop is I try to mix the approach, the strategies, so that all adults will be catered to a certain extent lah. Okay, so if you can design your assessment to be more not so exam based, remember that they need repetition for things to really be internalized. Okay, so maybe if you have exams, they have it there and then that's it. But if you want to have exams, perhaps you can do it in a formative way, whereby they get the exam results together with your constructive feedback, and then they will have another exam for them to be able to repeat back, so if you still want to have exams, perhaps that's the way. Or otherwise, you can just replace it with other things like portfolio-based reviews, maybe peer evaluation, and their own self-assessment. I've tried this and it works really well, okay, with postgraduate students. And don't forget, number three is most important for them. Allow revision cycles and feedback checkpoints, because they learn through the repetition process, yeah? Okay, and usually with these adult learners, you must be transparent. And I know some lecturers, they don't give marking rubrics, okay? But with adult learners, I would very much encourage you to give the rubrics early, okay? So lastly, rubric should be tied to real-world competencies, not just content recall. I'm going to check the messages now if there's anything new. Okay, nothing new. All right, so I think I'll stop there. Considering that it's already 11:57, I'm handing it over back to Dr. Raini. I hope I have managed to cover certain level of mastery within the 2 hours given by the organizer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahrul. Alhamdulillah, we have come to the end of our training session. Again, thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Shahrul Mizan Ismail, for your insightful sharing. Inshallah, we look forward to having you again in our future sessions. To all participants, thank you for your active participation. We hope to see you again in our upcoming training sessions too, inshallah. Let us end today's session with Tasbih Kafarah Suratul As. Okay, before we dismiss, don't forget we need to take photos, okay? So to Zoom participants, please turn on your camera. Let me see how many windows we have here. Okay, I have about 3. Okay, I'm going to take the first screen. Smile, everyone. Okay, second screen. Smile, everyone. And the last one. Oh, I have only 2. Okay. That's about it. Thank you again to Associate Professor Dr. Shahrul Mizan. We look forward to have you again in future, because we know that there is a continuation for this training, inshallah. And to the rest of the participants, thank you very much and may you have a good day today. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much.